right, welcome in. So we're just going to go ahead and get this one started. This one is Craig Frear. Man, I missed a lot of details on this one. I believe is up in I think it was up in like New York area, and I think he was like a lacrosse player, and he was just maybe out of high school, and he went missing. He was supposed to be at work or something, and then he never showed up, and then his parents went looking for him, and then never found him. And I want to say this one goes back a while, to early 2000s. So I'm just going to go ahead and play like a quick video. See that hopefully will fill us in, and we'll go here.
When you ask around about the disappearance of Craig Frear, the locals of Scotia, New York will all tell you the same thing. He just vanished. In the summer of 2004, Craig Frear was 17 years old. He was popular with dimples, red hair, and an easy smile. He was a star soccer player at the Scotia Glenville High School. He was about to be named captain of his team. On the afternoon of June 27th, he walked into the woods and was gone. Earlier on the 27th, Frear's parents tried to get in touch with him. His mother, Veronica, found out he hadn't shown up to his job at a local grocery store in weeks. She became worried. She managed to get him on the phone. She begged him to come home. Her son hung up on her without explanation. Shortly after that call, Craig's father, Bill, pulled his car into the Cambridge Manor apartment complex. He was still trying to find Craig and thought he might find him at his girlfriend's. He found Craig's car in the parking lot, but his son was gone. For almost 2 decades, police believed 2 children playing nearby were the last to see Frear alive. They described seeing him sneak around the apartment building. They waved and watched as Frear lifted a finger to his mouth in warning before disappearing into the woods. Frear's parents say they had...
Now, with the kids on that, I know that was debunked. Those kids made that up. The Solomon Road tracks.
no reason to believe their son would take his own life or run away. But where did he go? In the years since Frear's disappearance, police have followed up on countless leads. They searched the woods near the Cambridge Manor apartments 68 times. In the years that followed, investigators held fast to the theory that some kind of harm came to Frear shortly after he walked into the woods, whether foul play, an accident, or suicide. Then, in the summer of 2021, one of Frear's former co-workers came forward with a new lead. They claimed to have seen Frear in the days after his disappearance in 2004. The co-worker believes they spotted Frear sitting in the passenger seat of a car at a traffic light on Route 50 in Glenville. Why did the witness wait 17 years to come forward? Police, so far...
So that would be at age progression. I forgot to look when this video come out. Oh, that's just 2008. So let's see here. He was, I believe he was a lacrosse player. He was a big dude. He 5'11", 190, and he was 21 years old. He went missing June 27th, 2004. Man, 21 years ago. So he'd be 42 now. Is that right? He had red hair, brown eyes. Looks like he tended to wear some facial hair. Yep. So
won't say. Frear's family holds out hope that he'll be back. But for everyone who knew Craig Frear, the question...
So there looks like a number you could call. It's a billboard. Those are always good to have up. You can't see the numbers right there. But...
and remains. Where did he go?
Okay, so let's go ahead and yeah. Oh shit, I'm just drawing a blank here. How did I get? Oh yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go in here and see if there's any other videos without. I don't want this to be screen grabbed. Let's see what else we got. This is a year ago, so let's do
For
this
20
one.
years, a local family has desperately searched for a missing loved one. Craig Frear vanished on this day 2 decades ago. He was last seen in the village of Scotia. There's not been a trace of him since. Now, state police are looking into new leads. And 20 years later, his family is talking to Sabrina Dami to remind you Craig Frear is still missing.
We used to see these everywhere in the community, and we just don't anymore because so much time has gone by.
This is what Craig Frear looked like when he was last seen 20 years ago. He was 17 years old, and this is what he may look like now.
Oh, he
Craig would
was
be
17.
37 years old now.
It's hard to, how often do you think, what would he be doing at 37?
Oh, he's
His
27. Or
family
he's
has been searching
17.
for him
Sorry,
longer than the time they had with him. Older brother Matt remembers the last time he saw Craig, driving by his grandparents' house as Craig was helping them with housework.
I remember driving down the road and waved to him, and that was it.
Did you say anything?
No, he couldn't because we were driving, but it was just a little wave.
And that's the last time you saw him.
The day before he disappeared, Craig had spent the night at a friend's house.
I saw him in the morning after he came home, and he was on his way to work. And that is the last that I had seen him. And that was it. He was just gone.
June 27th, 2004, around 2 p.m, Craig was at a friend's place at Cambridge Manor Apartments in Scotia. He walked out the front door, down the path along some train tracks, and was never seen again. Craig had just finished his junior year at Scotia Glenville High School. He was co-captain of the varsity soccer team. He was working at Price Chopper. He had a lot of friends and a loving family.
There was nothing that to give me any indication that he was off in any way.
He did not have his wallet, no ID, no.
Yeah, it had a lot of similarities to the one I believe I just did, the Jason Jakowski.
Car. He disappeared with just the clothes he was wearing. After searching all day, Veronica Frear reported her son was missing around 2:30 that morning, but she says it took weeks for police to actively start searching for Craig.
Weeks.
And they have a little bit of a dispute as to who's supposed to be taking the report. Was it where Craig was last seen, or was it where Craig lived?
I'm sure this has entered your mind, but had it been taken seriously right from the start, could that have made a difference?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People were calling in leads, and they weren't following up on them.
State police eventually took over this case, and after reports for 2 decades of where Craig may be and what may have happened to him, there are still no answers.
Just make people remember, his face and his name, rather than, there was a boy 20 years ago that disappeared. That boy's got a face, and that boy has a name, and the boy has a family. So
that misses him very much.
We have this most recent age progression picture of Craig Frear on our website, wnyt.com. And if anyone has any information, please contact the state police. The phone numbers and the email address are on your screen right now. Coming up new at 5, what may have happened to Craig, how his family answers that question. And then new at 6 tonight, are there any new leads? Where does this investigation stand right now? I speak with the state police here at Troop G headquarters. Sabrina Dami, News Channel 13.
20 years ago, life changed for a family in Schenectady County when their loved one disappeared.
Craig Frear was just 17 years old when he vanished in the village of Scotia. You heard from Craig's mother and brother in Sabrina Dami's story live at 4.
They've been desperately searching for any sign of Craig for 2 decades. And now new at 5, what do they think happened to him?
Do you have your own, thought on what you think may have happened to Craig?
I don't like answering that question, only because whatever I say I think will be taken as, they know something that we don't. And so I don't know. What I do know is that for somebody to disappear like this with no means that we know of, no wallet, no ID, no car, nothing but shoes and pair of pants and shirt, and to walk down some train tracks and to not be seen again just seems absolutely impossible to me. And there must be another party involved, and I don't know what that party is, but there must be another party involved for good or for bad. And until we find who that party is, I don't think we're going to find an answer.
Can you share where the investigation stands right now, whatever you can say?
They have a couple of leads. They are following up on them. They are actively still working the case. And I am still so thankful that I have them.
If you have any information, please contact the New York State Police. The numbers and email address on your screen right now.
Coming up new at 6, Sabrina Dami sits down with state police investigators to discuss where this case stands right now. Are there new leads? Our coverage continues live at 6.
It was 20 years ago today when a 17-year-old from Schenectady County disappeared. For 2 decades, Craig Frear's family and loved ones have searched for him and wondered what happened to him. They're talking to Sabrina Dami and new at 6, their response to rumors about Craig over the years. Also what state police are saying about where the investigation stands now, 20 years after his disappearance.
Junior Prom 2004. This is one of the last videos of Craig Frear before he disappeared.
Can you still hear his voice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Craig was 17 years old, a soccer standout at Scotia Glenville High School. On the afternoon of June 27, 2004, Craig left a friend's place at Cambridge Manor Apartments in Scotia. He was seen walking along nearby train tracks and then vanished. For 20 years, as the Frear family has desperately searched for Craig, they've also had to hear different theories. Things like Craig wasn't truthful and that he was hiding something.
I know the word secrets has been used, that Craig has had maybe different versions of himself. What do you say to all of that over the past 2 decades of these different, accounts of Craig?
Those rumors or whatever they are, they take hold sometimes and they become something that people talk about. That's become kind of normal for us. So to hear things like that, we've had to feel those balls for 2 decades.
Hi. I'm Aaron Stefanik with
Hi.
the Cold Case Unit. Nice to meet
Sabrina Dami, nice to meet you too.
So it's a
The
cold
fact
case.
that he socialized amongst different social groups, if you will, of friends, that is something that has to be looked at even still 20 years later.
I met with 3 state police investigators at Troop G headquarters in Latham.
Are there leads being pursued right now? New leads?
Yes, there's as new leads and information come in, we're constantly out trying to do with new interviews, following up on old interviews.
The investigators explain in cases like this, time may actually be helpful.
Time can be on our side as far as maybe being willing or able to offer something that they were not able or willing to offer initially.
With his age and the
Lee
age of
Barton?
his friends and his circle of friends,
Remember what that means?
they were very young. So, they probably had apprehensions about getting in trouble or talking about maybe behaviors that they were engaging with that, they didn't want to tell their parents or
Oh, I
anyone
see what you're
else.
saying.
How does someone just vanish? Right? Is there any answer to that?
It's a great question.
No, I find it hard to believe as well, but it has happened in numerous occasions and the cases that we investigate.
Imagine these cases weigh on you as well.
You definitely take it home with you, to a certain extent, sure.
Everybody doing this kind of work wants to give the families answers.
The most recent search for Craig was in 2021 in a plot of land near the location where he was last seen.
Does it just kind of put you through this vicious cycle?
Every
Right?
time.
Yeah. You're hopeful that something is found, but then you realize, that what will be found is going to be difficult.
So as much as you want those answers and a part of you needs that answers, At this point, I fear those answers just as much as wanting them at this point. Yeah, I'm afraid to know, but I have to know.
If anyone has any information that could help the state police in their investigation into finding Craig Frear, please contact the state police. The phone numbers and the email address are on your screen right now. It doesn't matter if they've investigated what you want to share. They would still like to hear from you again. And Matt Frear is heavily involved in the Ride for Missing Children. This weekend, the orientation ride is in honor of Craig Frear. Sabrina Dami, News Channel 13.
So yeah, let me correct a couple of things. He was a soccer player, and I think he was 17. It said something 21 on there, so I don't know, but I think he was 17. He was still in high school. He was working at like a grocery store. I think there's some other details to it that didn't cover. Let me see here because there's a little bit more to this. Shit, man. See, I know that they interviewed the mother. I think it's this one.
Craig Allen Frear disappeared from the
Wow,
Cambridge
hour
Manor
and 35
apartment
minutes.
complex in Scotia, New York on June 27th, 2000.
Yeah, that one's a little long. Yeah, I don't plan on it. I don't think. I might have the interview of the mom in it. Yeah, not a lot of videos on this. Not a lot of videos to this. That was 12 years ago, interviewing the mom. I think his dad has passed on since then, too. I think his dad went to the apartment or something. He was hanging out at an apartment, I believe, and he quit his job, I believe, and he didn't tell his family. I know that part. I do remember that part. And then the guy, the sighting, there's an interview, the guy that saw him that did the.
He's been missing more than 8 years. Now volunteers are trying something new to find Craig Frear of Scotia. They conducted a search behind the Price Chopper in Glenville on Route 50 today, and they had some help from some forest rangers. Among the searchers were cadaver dogs. Police are still looking for information from family, co-workers, classmates, and friends. Frear disappeared June 27th, 2004, when he was 17. His mother says it's days like today that give her hope.
It's unbelievable. There's one thing over the years, over the last 9 years that I have learned is a renewed faith in humanity. Seriously, the people similar today that look at the people, look at the weather today. They're going to go out on their day off and they're going to give of themselves today, and it's overwhelming.
State police have told CBS 6 News they believe someone harmed Frear in some way. He was last seen walking near railroad tracks after leaving a girlfriend's house.
Sometimes in those searches, not saying this case, but they'll watch the searchers because, I heard, I can't remember the case, but there was one cop that just saw this person searching, and he looked suspicious, and he went up to him, and this is how he described it. He said, I just kind of put my hand on his shoulder. I kind of leaned on, kind of just leaned in and him, leaned in, put my hand on his shoulder, kind of, made eye contact and kind of leaned in, and just, I believe he just asked him like, hey, you look like you got something on your mind, or you look like there's something you want to tell me. And that guy confessed to it right then and there. So, I'm not saying this case, but when I was seeing that search, I was just thinking about that. I was like, I think on this one, he may have met up with somebody later, and then, I don't know. I don't know why like he would start a new life, but man, you don't know. There was like it might be on that Unfound one that they get into some stuff. There was some, I don't know. I don't want to get into all that, but I think the family thinks maybe he was like he was. Let's see if he'll talk about it here.
Okay.
The day my son went missing is etched in my brain. The weather, everything about that day.
Maybe she'll get into
I
it
had
here.
spoke to him on the phone. He was at a friend's house, and he said that he was on his way home.
Very nice.
He was last seen walking towards railroad tracks, and in the direction he was walking was in the direction of our house, and he was never seen again.
Craig Frear was last seen here at Cambridge Manor Apartments on June 27th of last year. He left his friend's apartment, went to walk home, and was never seen again.
We had walked back in those woods later that day, probably about 5 o'clock, to see if maybe he had tripped or anything such as that. When the sun started going down and friends were calling back and nobody knew where he was,
he's 10 years younger
really
than
started
me.
getting scared.
Maybe
as far as the police are concerned, if he had
38.
committed suicide, then they would have found him by now.
He didn't have, any identification. He didn't have money. He didn't have his car. He didn't have anything on him. So the possibilities of where, he could have gone are extremely limited. Really, it's a mystery.
That's just how many times you hear about like they leave stuff behind and then they go missing with nothing. I mean, to me, that either means like they started a new life and they left all their stuff behind, or somebody didn't want to, take any tracking devices or anything with them, and or any evidence. They left that behind, and then they just took their remains and hid it somewhere. That's the two things. But what they come to mind for me. But which one would it be? I think he had like scholarship offers too for soccer. 17 years old, 5'11", 190 pounds. That's a big dude. I was like 5'9", 5'10", $135, maybe $140. Man, he would just, if I played basketball and ran track, but man, if I played, he would just truck me. That's good size for 17-year-old. I mean, that's good size for adult. I mean, and he looked older too. I can't get an interview. I'll tell you what I from another interview was that he said that. So there was a couple things. I guess he lied about not working at his job, and then he got caught lying about that. And then they asked me about it, and I think like he didn't want to tell him, and then like his mom said that he was joking around with her, and he said he got somebody's phone number, and he showed it to her, and she said it was a man's handwriting. So, and then the witness that saw him, which I believe could be credible, saw him in a car with another man. This was 2004. So hypothetically, if he was a homosexual back then, unfortunately back then that, I don't know how to say this, that was looked down on. And, maybe he started a new life because of that. But now, I mean, I don't know. I think he met up with somebody. I think he might have been seeing somebody and he met up with them and they had some sort of argument, or they went somewhere and had an argument and there was some foul play. That would be my theory, in my opinion, something like that. And if that's the case, I really think it's solvable. I think, I think this one will get solved. I mean, it's been a while, but I think this one has a good chance of getting solved. But that's pretty much it. And then like the father too, I guess he passed away, and I think the father went to the apartment where he was staying at, and like his car was there, and then that's when he walked off, and I think that was like really the last time he was seen, if I remember right. Actually, I know I watched a video where they told all this. I think it might be that Unfound video I just played, but man, it's so long. Because I believe they interviewed the mother too in this, and she told what I just said. So I guess we'll just go ahead and if it's still up here. And if I'm wrong, then this will correct, because I hate to just this is a map. Thought there was another one. This one I just really didn't get into a whole lot because there really wasn't a whole lot. I'll need to play this one. Maybe this has some of it. This is like 14 minutes. Well, that's not too bad.
Hello, everyone,
That
and
won't be too
welcome
painful.
again to the Unfound podcast channel on YouTube.
Oh, that's loud.
Today, I will be diagramming the disappearance of Craig Frear. And just in going over my notes and looking back at his disappearance, for some reason, I tend to forget that this disappearance is now 16 years old. It's getting very close to the average age of a disappearance that we cover on the program. Did not realize that. But what you are looking at on your screen is at least one route that Craig could have taken from where he was down here in the bottom of the screen at the Cambridge Manor Drive. And then he lived there with his parents, and I think he had a brother, up here in Yorkshire Court. Now, you have to first realize that even though these two locations are only at least walking distance, and we'll get into driving distance here in a moment, but are only 1.6 miles away from each other, not very far, these are technically different towns. This area down here is Scotia, New York, and the area up here where he lived is actually Glenville. And going back and thinking about that disappearance, I think there was a jurisdictional issue back at the time as to who was going to be responsible for looking into his disappearance, where the missing persons report was going to be filed, etc. Of course, the last place he was seen was down here in Scotia, but once again, he lived up here in Glenville. Now, if you'll remember, there were some things that, I guess in retrospect, looking back, hindsight 2020, there were some things going on in Craig's life that I still don't think anybody has an answer to. For some reason, he had stopped working at this supermarket, grocery store, and never told his parents about it. In fact, he was pretending to go to work when really he was going to hang out with friends. And in fact, the day he disappeared, he was allegedly at work when really he was down here seeing a girl at Cambridge Manor Drive. Also, for some reason I forgot this, is that he seemingly on the day he disappeared, he left his wallet and some money at home. So maybe you want to think about that.
Yeah.
And there was still this issue of him being at a party. I think it was some sort of graduation party, something like that, where he was on the phone with somebody,
Here
and
it is.
the conversation seemed to be very heated. It might have been with a girlfriend that he had broken up with recently, but still, all these years later, nobody is 100% sure. And there have been a lot of rumors regarding that. In fact, I've seen on the Craig Frear page or somewhere on Facebook that the woman who hosted that party has explained that or something, but then even her explanation is different than everything else that has been out there over the years. So I'm not sure what to make of it. You should also know something. I interviewed Craig's mother, Veronica, for this episode way back in the summer of 2017. I want you to know I've not spoken to her since that day. Now, I've tried to contact her to follow up with her back at the time. She never got back to me. I've not tried contacting her probably in a couple years. Why that is, I don't know. It's very unusual. I can tell you that most of the guests who have been on the program, I interact with them at least once in a while. Maybe not every week or every month, but if I contact them for some reason, they usually get right back to me. Of course, if they contact me, I get right back to them. It depends. There are some guests that I talk to all the time, and then some guests will go for many months without talking. But Veronica sticks out to me as probably the only guest who's been on the program who I've not spoken to since she did the interview for that episode. Also, to remind you, within the last couple years, that Craig's father passed away, and there were a lot of allegations thrown at him from the public regarding Craig's disappearance. So just want you to remember some of those points as I go through this. Once again, here is where Craig was on the day he disappeared. His car was there. And in fact, his car continued to be there after he disappeared. And what happened that day, seemingly, allegedly, is that somehow the parents found out that he wasn't at work and tracked him down using a cell phone or somehow and figured out that this is where he was. And his father went out to look for him, look around for him, or get him. And the father also ended up, with the help of Veronica, ended up at Cambridge Manor Drive. And allegedly, his father was outside.
Oh, sorry, guys. I was trying to, I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, let me go ahead and I'll just cut it there. Sorry. That's the Gentleman's Podcast. It's the Unfound Podcast. Let me see here. I'll put it up. It is the Unfound Podcast. So I was trying to find that video with the interview. I know in the interview she said that story was, and I believe it was his interview with her. It was probably that hour and a half one about the finding him showing her the number, and it was a guy's handwriting. Now that doesn't mean, but I don't know. That seemed to be like a popular rumor that people come up with, and keep in mind, it's a rumor. I probably shouldn't even said that, but that did happen. She with the phone number. So 35 minutes. So yeah, I want to thank the Unfound Podcast, and just keep in mind, this is just rumor, speculation. This is for education reasons only. These opinions are my opinions only. They don't represent anybody but me. So, and I really mostly just want to get, the information out about him, because, I think, like I said, I think this one is solvable. crap. What did I do here? Yeah, I was trying to get like a picture of him up, but I don't know what's going on. Why that? It's doing that. I might not even. This is so weird. If you can see what's going on, I'm trying to get. I might not even be able to end this podcast. What in the hell is going on here? Oh, what the hell did I just do? Sorry, guys. I got like a screen going here. I can't shake, and I need to end this podcast. And this might be like a never-ending podcast if I don't figure this out. All right, so. Oh, wow. What the fuck? What the heck is going on? All right. Yeah. Okay. I got it off. I had this like screen that with my mouse, it wouldn't shake off, and I needed to get to go into stream or get it off the thing here. So yeah, let's end it there.